Hi, and welcome back. Today I will tell you about Long Island City. Long Island City is located between East River and Astoria in Queens. It's just across the river from Manhattan. It's very close and it's growing. It's the place to be right now. Long Island City is connected to Manhattan by Queensboro Bridge, the only toll-free bridge going into Manhattan, which means it's free, you don't have to pay a fee, because as all of you know, all bridges and tunnels you have to pay for as much as $15 or so. To get to Long Island City, you can take a train. The trains that come here are 7 train, E, M, and G. You can catch 7 train at Grand Central or E and M trains around 53rd and 5th Avenue, Lexington, or anywhere else in Manhattan. And there is also G that connects Long Island City and Williamsburg. It's going to Brooklyn. I never heard about G train before I moved here, but it exists, and it's very convenient. About Long Island City. Long Island City is a new developing area. If you're familiar with Miami, and if you know the area called Brickell, that's what it reminds me of, with all its new built luxury high-rises coming up here. And the greatest part that it's only 5 minutes by train to get to Manhattan, literally one stop. The stops on the train that you can get off to end up in Long Island City are Vernon Boulevard, Hunters Point, Court Square 23rd Street, and Queens Plaza. If you get off at Vernon Boulevard, you will end up on the main street in Long Island City called Vernon Boulevard. Vernon Boulevard is full of restaurants and bars. It's a perfect area for time out or lunch, dinner with families. It's only 5 minutes walk to the waterfront. Once you get to the waterfront, that area is gonna be called Hunters Point. Hunters Point has a great family-friendly park where you'll see a lot of moms with their newborn babies walking around with their strollers. There are also dog parks where you can take your dog if you are a pet lover. From Hunters Point, you can take a ferry, which costs only $2.75. That ferry goes to Wall Street. On the way to Wall Street, it makes stops at Williamsburg, Dumbo, and 34th Street. It takes about 30 minutes. You can also take that ferry just to get a nice boat ride with your family or friends. They also serve beer and you can get snacks while you are on the ferry. For the ones who love beer, Long Island City has a lot of great places. Long Island City has 5 breweries, one more to come, and a great German beer garden. The breweries are Fifth Hammer Brewery. Fifth Hammer Brewery is located in a convenient area. It's large in size to where you can host parties. You can also take kids there. It's very family friendly and it has a huge space. Not too far from Fifth Hammer Brewery, there is a Rockaway Brewery. Rockaway Brewery is also located in a convenient area. However, it's much smaller, but it also has great beers and family friendly. Next brewery is called Big Alice Brewery. Big Alice Brewery is great. However, to get here, I would highly recommend to take an Uber or drive there, because that area doesn't seem to be very safe to walk. It's hidden within warehouses, so I wouldn't recommend you to walk there. However, if you're up for adventure, you can always walk. It's only probably 10 minutes walk from Hunters Point. Transmitter is a great brewery that brews Belgium-style beers. It's also located about 10 minutes walk from Vernon Boulevard. Transmitter is gonna be moving to Brooklyn Yards very soon because they're expanding. Beer is always in demand. There is also another brewery which I didn't get a chance to get to yet, however it's here. It's called LIC Beer Project. And Ale's wife is going to open up a new brewery very soon. Aside from breweries, there is a beer garden. It has a lot of great German beers and German food. It's called Beerocracy. It's located at Jackson Avenue, in a very convenient location as well, very close to G train. It's about 5 minutes walk from Vernon Boulevard as well. Once you get to Beerocracy Beer Garden, you can also take another 5 minutes walk on Jackson Boulevard towards the train, and you will end up at MoMA, which is PS1, which is a fun place, very artistic. It's an art museum. Also on the weekends, I believe they host some dance parties. I would recommend to go on their website and see what events they're having. But that place seemed to be fun because I see a lot of people always going in that direction and music noises coming out of there. Once you are standing on Jackson Avenue and looking towards 7th train, it will look that street is rapidly developing with high rises on each side. It reminds me of Vegas Boulevard in Vegas, if you're familiar with that. There are so many new buildings coming up. It's amazing. I've been living in Long Island City only for 1 year, but the speed it's developing with, and it's just amazing to watch. Now I will give you some benefits of living in Long Island City over Manhattan, and it's pretty exciting. I will start with the pricing. In Manhattan, there are two types of buildings. Walk-ups, meaning 6-floor residential buildings with no elevator. Some of them don't have a doorman, neither they have a laundry in the building. Forget about washer and dryer. You will have to take your laundry on the block somewhere to a laundromat. And you might see some homeless person having their lunch or doing their laundry there as well. I lived in Manhattan. I experienced a lot of interesting stories with laundromat. Or sometimes if you step away and your laundry is done before you get back, sometimes you'll find your clothes all over the laundromat. And I lived on Upper East Side, just so you know, it happens everywhere. Not only walk-ups, but also high-rises in Manhattan. They're relatively older. Not that many developments are going on in Manhattan. There are high-rises that are nicer than walk-ups, but they're also on an older side. So they might smell like moldy and be not very well maintained. However, they're much better than walk-ups. In Long Island City, there are lots of brand new high-rises coming up. Brand new, where everything is just built and you might be even the first person moving in the unit. The pricing. In a studio apartment in Manhattan, you would be paying about $1,800 in a walk-up, $2,500 in a high-rise. Long Island City for a studio pricing is about the same, $2,500 for a studio. 1 bedroom. In Manhattan, in a walk-up, you would pay around $2,300 or so. In a high-rise, you would pay about $3,500. And in Long Island City, for 1 bedroom, you would pay around $3,100. Here you can see the difference. As the unit is larger, the price is less than in Manhattan. When we look at 2-bedroom apartments, in Manhattan, in a walk-up, you can find two-bedroom, very small, very old apartment for about 3,000. However, in a high-rise, two bedrooms range 4,500 and up. In Long Island City, you will find two-bedroom units brand new for 4,200 and up. Now, let's talk about the buildings themselves. Now I'll compare only high-rises in Manhattan and high-rises in Long Island City. Building amenities. In Manhattan, some buildings have a pool. So do some Long Island City buildings, brand new buildings. Some of them have a pool. Salt water, large, upscale pool. Some buildings in Manhattan have laundry in the building. In Long Island City, almost all brand new buildings have washer and dryer inside of the unit, as well as huge laundromat. And I will repeat again, washer and dryer, which is very rare in New York to have washer and dryer in unit. Here we are. Come to Long Island City. Next, doorman. High-rises in Manhattan and in Long Island City, most of them have doormen. However, there is such new thing in Long Island City, it's called virtual doorman, meaning that your building has security cameras, and instead of physical doorman in your location, there is a remote doorman somewhere. When some guest comes into the building or FedEx, UPS, USPS delivery, they buzz virtual doorman who is located somewhere else and profiles the guest or delivery person, and then they will let them in. It's an interesting concept and it's working well so far. I haven't heard any negative instances about that. Parking in Manhattan in high-rises cost around $500 a month. Long Island City is a little bit cheaper. However, aside from parking garages that come with high-rises in Long Island City, there are lots of street parking. So you can leave your car outside of your building, and in Long Island City there is no such thing as you have to move your car on daily basis because of street cleaning. It's a little bit better here for street parking. Some of the buildings in Long Island City have such thing as golf simulator in your building, meaning you can play golf not leaving your building with your friends or family. Rooftops. There are rooftops in both high-rises in New York City and Long Island City. However, what I like about Long Island City, you can see Manhattan skyline. When you're in Manhattan, depending on the area you're in, some buildings you can see it from and some you cannot. Here, the view is gorgeous. Another great amenity that some buildings have in Long Island City is rock climbing. There are also cliffs, which is a facility where you can walk to in Long Island City, where you can do rock climbing, which costs you about $40 per person, or you can do it not leaving your building. If you're interested which building has it, comment below and I will let you know. Some buildings have wine storage room. You can keep your wine in a storage room inside of your building. Also, all of these high-rises have lounges where you can study, you can play, you can rent them out for a private event, you can invite guests, you can watch a game if you're a sports fan. Great place to be. Some buildings in Long Island City have TV screen projector where you can watch movies with your neighbors certain days of the week if weather permits. Especially during the summer, it's great. I live in one of those buildings, and actually from my window I can watch the movie not even leaving my apartment, because my apartment is facing the big screen. so it's great. Barbecue grills. You can do barbecue on your rooftops in Long Island City. Manhattan, you can also do it. Long Island City, you can also enjoy the view of Manhattan. Next, some of the buildings in Manhattan and Long Island City have squash courts. You can play squash not leaving your building. Many buildings in Long Island City have basketball court. Almost every building in Long Island City has gym, so you don't have to pay crazy membership gym fees like you have to pay in Manhattan. For example, Equinox, over $100 a month. I think it's even $160 if I'm not mistaken. And other clubs that are in a similar price range. Here it's all included with your rent. Some buildings, they waive your amenities fee for the first year. Next, yoga room with free yoga classes. Some buildings have that. Many buildings have just yoga room. Some of them host free yoga classes. Where can you find that? A yoga class costs at least $20 every time you go, or around $150 per month unlimited yoga pass. Here it's free. Some buildings have free housekeeping services, meaning you don't have to hire a maid. You just fill out your form online and your free complimentary housekeeper will come and clean up your mess. Some buildings even have a bar where you don't have to leave your building to have a drink. You just go on your gorgeous rooftop and have a drink, or inside of one of the lounges. Many buildings come with kids' playroom, so you can take your little ones to play with each other inside of your building. For the ones who like to accumulate a lot of things you might never use, there are storage rooms. Many buildings come with storage rooms, so you don't have to travel far to keep your junk outside of your apartment. You can just use one of the building storage rooms, and the prices are good as well. For example, in the building where I'm at and many other ones, you can rent a storage unit for $70, whereas in Manhattan, storage can cost you $200, $300, $400 a month. Now, I will briefly speak about application process. To rent an apartment in Manhattan, you have to go into war. There is always such thing as there is only one apartment available and you have to put your application right away or it will be gone. And it's true. There is such a high demand on apartments in Manhattan, especially if you find a great deal for a relatively new apartment for a great price. You better don't think twice. Put your offer right away. And if you are lucky, you might get it. In Long Island City, it's a different story. Because of so many new buildings coming up, you don't have to worry about right now and right away. You do need to put your application as soon as you can, because demand is still pretty high here. I am surprised that so many buildings are coming up, but demand is not declining. In Manhattan, many apartments come with either broker fee or 15% of annual rental fee, which is a lot of money. In Long Island City, most apartments come with zero fee. You don't have to pay broker fee and you don't have to pay move-in fee. Meaning, even if you come with a broker, the building will pay your broker for you to rent an apartment. You pay zero broker fee. So that's one positive. Apartment size is much larger here than in Manhattan. Also, as I mentioned many times throughout this video, apartments are brand new. As far as income requirements, all buildings in Manhattan and Long Island City require you to make at least 40 to 50 times monthly income requirement, or they require 80 times monthly rent guarantor, or they require an agency to guarantee it for you for a certain fee. If you're interested in those, please comment below and I'll give you more information. The buildings in Long Island City are moving to paperless, online lease signing agreements, meaning that you don't have to deal with paper applications anymore. You can submit all paperwork online, email to your real estate agent or the building you're renting your apartment from, and they're gonna email you the lease. You will scroll through 65 pages document, initial and sign each page, and you're done. No more paper. Next, many buildings in Long Island City come with 1 month free, which is great. You'll save yourself some money. In Manhattan, you don't see that many apartments coming with anything free. In Manhattan, many buildings charge you amenities for the gym, for the barbecue grills, and whatever else they have to offer. Here, at least for the first year, some buildings permanently have free amenities, which means gyms, rooftops. Some of them have all other list of amenities I mentioned earlier. If you still have doubts about Long Island City, come and check it out. This place is great. You will love it. It's convenient, it's new, it's clean, it's close to Manhattan, it's growing. I can keep talking all day about all the benefits you get with moving to Long Island City. If you don't believe me, come and see it yourself. Talk to you in my next video. Bye bye.